export, okay, and then we would get one of these out of there, who actually comes from it. So I'm gonna show you in a minute how we cut a cowboy steak, and then we'll do the reverse and do a cowgirl on the other end. So we can also, once I should, look, you know what? Let's just cut this now. Okay, so that's a full bone, right? So a customer says, hey, can I get a 12-ounce cowboy steak? Huh? I mean, I'm sure we can trim it all the way out and throw this to somebody else, but, so if, you know, if they want a cowboy steak, that's about the size it's gonna be. So you're gonna be looking 24 ounces, somewhere around there, okay? We can trim a little bit away, I'll show you how to do that in a second. But if they want something smaller, you're gonna be looking at a saw cut.
Yeah, but that's not, I'm sorry, that's not something, trimming that out down to 16, 12 ounces, not something a stockyard would ever do though, right? Too much weight?
Yeah.
That's one, it'd probably be about
Right,
right.
yeah, they wouldn't do that.
That's why I say that's, you know, cut away some of this muscle here, but that's about it.
So the point of that is if you got a customer that says, I want a cowboy ribeye, I want a 16-ounce or 12-ounce cowboy ribeye, you can't get it unless.
We move to the saw cut. All right, simply what we're doing is cutting down between the bone.
And this might not be the best example, because when we pull those, we pull heavies. So we all know that there's lights and heavies, correct?
All right, so at this point, what, if we wanted to do prime rib, is this a good choice? What do you think, Tim? Would this be a good choice for prime rib?
No,
Why not?
he's good.
Frank, what's
It's not prime.
It's not prime? Good, thank you for bringing that up. Does prime matter?
No, if you're
Does
making a
not.
prime rib, you don't want it to be prime, because you're
You
cooking
could
it
if you want to be
slow anyway.
esoteric.
It's gonna break it down and be tender no matter what.
Exactly. Okay, because the cooking method that we're applying there is gonna do that, exactly right, very good. All right, so we look at it, we got good marblin there, it's a good piece of meat, this is sterling. So the idea.
Points for the team, right?
Is that it's still on the bone, it's gonna keep it together, it's gonna slow cook as opposed to being off the bone. And that's gonna be the 109, and then that's going to, you know, it's gonna, excuse me, 112, 109, thank you, I was right. All right, so when it comes off the bone, it's gonna shrink a lot faster. All right, so we keep it on the bone, it's a good choice, okay? So then the bones could be used for stock, we use to make au jus, anything like that. I'll show you, we'll take this off, and then we could have other uses for it. So while we're here, we're looking at it. The muscles, did you cover the muscles in there?
It's a good looking piece of beef.
No? Okay, so this muscle towards the outside,
Everybody know what that is?
spin out, okay? Big muscle. Longissmus.
Longissmus dorsi.
Yes, longissmus dorsi.
Or should have taken on.
Or ribeye heart if you want to go American dish.
There you go.
Latin house.
And then the smaller muscle that's in there?
Plexus.
Medulla oblongata, right? Complexus, right? All right, so there you go. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. All right, so we'll French this down. Okay, there's different ways to do it. Everybody does a little bit differently. I like to do it this way. So what I'm gonna do is just remove meat. Now imagine somebody in stockyard doing this all day long. They do it a lot faster than I do.
Sure, knives are very short.
What are you trying to say?
Keep those set.
Okay, so I'm gonna trim this down. Peel that meat back. There we go. All right, so in essence, that's what you're gonna end up with. All right, so if you're selling these, you wanna say, hey chef, or you know, you're dealing with somebody that maybe really doesn't know. You ever get a steak or rib on the grill, it's all burned up? It's not very eye appealing, right? So something to talk about would be wrapping this up, if you wanted to show a little knowledge to them, give a little respect, wrap it with paper, a little bit of vinegar in there, wrap it with foil, okay, the moisture inhibits browning, and then the vinegar is gonna help whiten the bone. So, I'm gonna plate. Bam. Good plate coverage there, right? So when we talk about the size of the eye too, so that this is a heavy, so the lights are gonna be a little bit smaller, so it's gonna take up less space, but it's gonna stand taller on the plate. That comes sometimes when chefs want smaller fillets so that they stand taller. Other chefs want bigger fillets, so you get a little wider plate coverage, okay?
It's a great way to menu that for your customer as a special, because it's so big, it's too much for one person.
So we come down on this side.
Say again? Dinner for two, that's right. So Valentine's is a great way to offer that cut to your customer, because they can offer dinner for two with a side. Wild lobster on the side.
So, then the cowgirl, it's gonna be essentially the same thing. Cut this around in the interest of time. Just trim this back a little bit.
Patrick, the pieces that you're trimming off, what are some uses for those?
These grinds, you know, you peel it out. You know, and that's the thing too, is when you talk to people about steaks, you know, oh, yeah, I clean all my own stuff, and then I put it in the bucket, and then, you know, once a week we grind it. Okay, cool. I used to call it the bucket of hope, the bucket of intention. The bucket of hope. Because I hope that somebody would grind it sometime during the week and use it. Because if you don't grind the stuff right away, even if you do, it doesn't hold color, it bleeds out, and you get a gray burger. So if they're trying to hit temps, it's not happening. So that's something you could talk about too, if you want to move somebody to cut steaks. All right, so.
Plus, to see people like, they cut a bunch of ribeyes one day and then maybe a bunch of tenderloin the next day. And so they might be grinding tenderloin one day and ribeye another day, so they might be going from like a 94% lean to fat ratio to like a 70% lean to fat ratio.
So no consistency in the
No
burger.
consistency in that. Now the health department wants you to do it in a refrigerated room if you're gonna be grinding meat. So, I mean, it's just, you know, like you said, intention. The intention is great.
My mother used to tell me the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Okay, so there would be your cowgirl. Okay, well, obviously we clean this up a little bit better so it would look like that, but. So,
And the bone will be a little shorter, it's fabricated and stuff.
so you can see, yeah, when we go to 7 bones, every rib's gonna have 7 bones, so you can see the length of this bone compared to that one. So a smaller bone, smaller chop, okay? And then do the size of that spinalis, huh? So these, if we took it off, roll them up, tie those up, wrap them with bacon, anything like that, roll them off as a steak, roast them off, okay?
Filet style.
Fillet style.
Cat steak.
Exactly, cap steaks, all right. The size of it, we can cut it down. Yeah, we could cut into a little bit more, roll it up. Okay?
Stuff was
Now,
good.
if you wanna make
Tomatoes,
some-
spinach, mushrooms,
If you wanna
anything
make
you
some
want.
point, you can tie it up and bring it down to Deanna's desk.
Yeah.
I gotta go. Okay. All right, so then the bones, you know, just fabricate this out, and just come down. A lot of times you ever see the bottom side of the rib, you know, some people just cut and pull these bones out, and then you got that feather meat in there. I'm the chef that doesn't like that, so I'm gonna trim that away, so a spec could be that you want it clean.
Or use those little pieces for tacos, braised beef, great little tips, the flavor's good on them. Better than throwing it out.
All right, so here's our beef back ribs. These can be braised down, thrown on the grill, seasoned. You don't see a lot of this on menus, do you? So less expensive, cut, easy to use, okay? Cut them down to individual portions. You could French these up a little bit. Great little appetizer, little party stuff, okay? So from there, what piece are we at now? Who can tell me? Bones are removed. Boneless ribeye, cool, all right. What number?
112A.
Okay, why A?
Because you haven't cut the end off.
Get this man a steak.
This is